Hi, another video. I'm gonna record another one, I guess, today. It's been a minute since I did my last one. It's been 3 days. I think, well, now it's been four. 4 days since my last video recording. I feel like there's a lot to talk about, but, like, I haven't. It's weird because I feel like a lot has been bothering me and, like, just a lot of noise, scattered noise in my head, but when I actually get ready to talk about it and, like, kind of get an idea of what's bothering me, then it's like it all kind of, I wouldn't say vanishes away, but, like, doesn't it's not as clear as I thought it would be when trying to talk it out. I got bent up. Look at me. I got eaten alive by a lot of mosquitoes, man. They are no joke. The mosquitoes out there are crazy. Yeah. Just a lot I feel like is on my mind with work, personal, future goals and ambitions. It's tough. I feel like it's weird because I feel like the past couple of days I've been busy. It's like decent. It's like it's good. I'm having fun, enjoying things. I saw the new Jurassic World movie that came out, Jurassic World Rebirth. I liked it. I gave it like a 7 out of 10. Hanged out with friends. I saw my friends to see the movie. Then I saw another movie afterwards, Megan 2.0, with my family, which it's funny, but yeah. I don't even know why I was gonna review that one. I mean, it's what you expect basically. Uh, But because I didn't record anything, I just I feel like I did nothing in my week and it was pointless. Or once again, very critical and hard thinking on myself, where I'm like, you didn't do much, you didn't do anything. And it's like I did do a lot. I was busy. I mean, yes, there's still chores that I still haven't finished or even started yet. So there's things I for sure need to be hard on. And it's like, yeah, dude, come on, hurry up and get that done. But yeah, I just feel like once again misguided with my thought process and still very overcritical with doing video journaling. I mean, it feels like too it's been very beneficial, but like me not doing it for a couple of days, I know one of the days I could have done it, but I was like, oh, I want to take a break since I did so many videos prior. I'm like, well, one day won't hurt, but then it became one day, then 2 days, then 4 days, and it's like, okay, is it 5 days next? It's like, yeah, I need to start recording. Um, I've just noticed too, if I'm not recording or doing the video journals, then it's like I'm not doing anything at all. And I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, it's kind of tough. I'm still trying to figure out my goals and future ideas, but it's like a lot of it isn't connecting. It's not hitting right away. So it's like the only thing I will do is record, basically. And yeah, it's tough. A lot has happened with work. It's a little stressful, a little frustrating, very busy, and then it's just like we're not, still don't have enough people. And I'm noticing how I'm kind of waiting for something to bother me. I'm waiting for someone to do one wrong move and say one wrong thing or just do something for me to get irritated. And I notice when I do that, it's like, Jane, you need to calm down because like now you're trying to find an excuse to be a jerk and to be rude. And it's tough too because I feel like I've had an issue with understanding a balance between standing up for yourself and like doing what is fair and right. And it's like, hey, if I ask for these days off, or if I stated I can't do this, or why are you screwing me over doing this and putting me on for days like this? And it's like little small things like that. Where I'm like, how do I react to not getting the schedule properly done for my week? Why am I always working on days I said I can't work on? So like getting those type of like small examples there, it's like there's a difference between like I can't find the difference between standing up for myself and like saying, hey, I can't work these days, why are you putting me on for these days? And the difference between, oh, you're just a jerk, you're being critical, you're being rude, you are being hypocritical basically over. It's like I always have this weird mix where if I do state my frustrations and concerns with like, hey, I can't work these days, stop making me work these days, then to me I'm like, oh, now you're being disrespectful, now you're being rude, you know. Like, so then I at the end like take it for what it is. It's like even when I said I can't work that day, I'm like, oh well, I'll still work it. I always do things like that where it's like I can't find the balance between standing up for what I want and what's good for me. Because if I do that, then I think I'm being a jerk. I'm being selfish, not selfless. I'm being rude, I'm overthinking, and sometimes, yes, and maybe how angry and frustrated I am in the moment. Sometimes I will probably say, or in my head, think about saying it the wrong way and being too harsh and rude and not being respectful. But I'm like, knowing me, most of the time, I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to accept it and be like, it's fine, I'm okay. And not own up to what's bothering me. Um, and that's why I don't understand why I'm so afraid of, speaking up for myself, because, like, most of the time I don't. So to think that I'm going to over rationalize the situation and topic and be too rude and disrespectful, it's like, that's not in your character. Why would you think you'd do that? But then I know I have those moments where I'm very easily agitated, I'm easily angered, I'm almost hot-headed, where I'm like, I want someone to do something. I want someone to push the button and get on my nerves so I can do or say something wrong. And that, it's like, yikes. When I know I start falling back into that kind of mindset and mentality, then there's an issue, and like, I need to fix that. And that's why I've noticed has came back around when I've taken those days off, when I haven't started done any video journaling or audio. I've noticed I've been writing things down to like maybe remember and keep the thoughts in my head for later to talk about, but I'm not really doing that right now. There's no note cards around me. I didn't bring them for some reason. I know I have other topics I want to talk about, but like I said, I just feel like I need to talk to get just whatever out of my head. Um, there's been minor things too with friends. Like, I hanged out with my friends. Obviously, I stayed at that with the movie, and then the day after to just have more fun afterwards. A lot of comparison with one of my friends. He compares himself a lot to things, and it's a little frustrating. It's like, he's been telling me, hey, get the new iPhone, the Apple iPhone. And I'm like, I got the iPad Pro, the M4 Apple iPad, but still, it's an iPad and a phone to me are like two different things of usage. Like, computer, sure, maybe I can do Apple for the PC or whatnot, but like, a phone's like, I've been Samsung this entire time, so instead of being like, oh, he was like for a minute like, oh, nice phone, but then of course you gotta compare his phone to mine's, and it's like, mine's is faster, yours is still slow, Androids are slow, and I'm like, sometimes it's meant to be funny, but it does get on my nerves sometimes where it's like, dude, come on, like, I just spent all this money, I don't care about comparison about your phone and mine's, I'm not getting Apple. I don't care for Apple like that. Like, it's a phone. I've been Samsung all this time. Why would I switch up on a phone and meet? Like, that's just too big of a change that I don't want. Uh, did I say that to him? No, I was kind of like laughing it off, like, haha, funny, and try to play as a joke. But it's like that. The way I react to things like that is very frustrating. It's like, dude. And then, compare his job, like how much he's getting paid, how much he has in his account. Even then, that bothered me. I'm like, oh, I don't have much, but it's like, Jane, you don't work like him. He's getting paid more. You're not getting paid the same amount. So it's like the comparison game started taking a toll in my head a little bit. Where I'm like, man, maybe I'm not doing this much. But it's like, Jane, stop. And like, if it is bothering you, why don't you say anything? And like, that part really irritates me when it's like, you're very in the heat of the moment. You don't do anything. You stay frozen. You stay still. You don't talk. You don't do anything. You just let it happen. And I'm not sure if that's because I'm afraid that I'm going to attack and not talk about what's bothering me and just be very unrational and just say and do things that are completely out of character. But I'm like, most of the time you don't even do anything. You just accept it, be like, oh, that's funny, ha ha ha, even though the joke was probably pretty douchey, or like kind of like, there's underlying tones that are like kind of like, hey, what are you trying to really say there? Instead of reacting, being, hey, that's not cool, can we stop doing this? Or just state like, dude, I don't care about comparison, who cares, I'm happy with what I have. Instead of doing that, I'd be like, oh, maybe next time. Or it's just, I like, a chicken out and like whimper out the situation, and that really bothers me. Or I'm just overly too goofy, too obnoxious. I've noticed when I'm around my friends, it's like I'm very goofy, loud, very, what's the word, like a class clown. Man, it's hot. Keep sweating crazy. I'm very much the class clown around them, and I really hate that. I hate that about myself. I notice I switch up easily when it's different. When I'm around different people, I sense their energy, I sense their tone, how they are as a person, and I switch up to I mold myself into being acceptable, or if not exactly like them. And that, I find that very frustrating. I can't just stay as myself and be, I am kind of like maybe too hard on myself, thinking like, oh, you're too fake, you're too this, you're too dumb and annoying. Shut up. No one likes you. There's a lot of those things that come in my head, and it's like it's a little too harsh. But then again, it's like, okay, if you do feel like you're too annoying, then calm it down. Then try to figure out. But I'm like, I am stuck in, like, I don't fully know who I am. I'm still growing and trying to figure myself out, which is fine. But like, I keep breaking myself down, and breaking myself apart, being like, oh, you're not good, you're not this, you're worthless, you're weak. And it's like, dude, I'm still figuring myself out. Why are you so hard on? Because I don't know who I fully am. You're worthless, basically. I'm like, that's not how that should work. I mean, like, it's character growth, it's learning who you are as a person, self-love, self-gratitude. I completely just say, screw all those things. It doesn't matter. Work harder, do more. And I don't understand why I do that. It's very frustrating, and there's a lot of times where I'm like, instead of being like, oh, maybe I was too goofy with my friends, maybe I was just, I should calm it down. Too loud, a little too obnoxious, calm it down next time. Instead of being like, okay, did this, could fix it, do better next time. It's no, I go into the thoughts of, no, there isn't a next time. You failed, you're fake, you're not a real person, you're fake around everyone, you don't have a real personality. You change through the crowd, you're fictitious, you're basically, it's a lot of those thoughts and a lot of the same words being repeated, but in different words and different tones and, undertones. And it's like, I don't know why I always go into that mindset, into that type of energy and mentality, and it is very, very hard on myself for no reason. Like I stated, I took a few days off. I didn't, too, was busy. I had fun. I was doing things with friends and family, which is fine. But because I didn't record those days, or I took a day off, then it's like, I noticed there was some downsides. Like, I wasn't perfectly up to date. Like I said, I started getting back into that negative mindset, a little easily agitated, and things have been stressful. But it still is like, you could handle it a little bit better. But instead of being like, hey, let's get back into it, let's have fun, let's get back into the motion, the grind of, doing some recordings, doing some videos, have to overthink it, have to be like, you failed, you didn't do this right, you know, again, are you going to stay consistent with it? You're not going to be consistent. Then I have to think of ways why I can't do it or why I shouldn't do it. Like, I've been recently noticing, like, these videos take up storage on the phone, which is expected, it's fine. But so now I guess that's an excuse to not do any more recordings because it's taking up a lot of storage. Really? Find maneuvers. Move around that. Try to figure out other ways to record your face and do video recordings, and like figure out other unique tools and equipment that you could probably get in the future. Instead of doing that, instead of thinking outside the box, it's, no, you have to do it this way. You need to do it this way. If you don't do it this way, you failed, it sucks, it's not good for you. Even though I just stated the last video I talked about how beneficial video recordings are and how much I think I should keep doing them. But because I took a few days off, like I stated in the last video, you didn't do any more recordings, you must not want to do this. This must not be for you. This must be terrible. In fact, give up. And it's like, why? Why do you need to do that? Why do you think that? Why can't you just enjoy it as is? And yeah, sure, maybe you're not doing anything at the moment. It's fine, but like, why are you beating yourself up for it? Do you have to? No. It's like someone saying, Jane, you should beat yourself up for it. You don't have to. Like I said, I don't fully understand sometimes the way I think and why I think the way I think. I just don't understand why I'm so negative on myself and not self-loving. Because I am who I got at the end of the day. Like, I'm not saying I don't have friends and family that I can go to, but like, at the end of the day, I can't always go to them. Like, they have their things too. They have their lives. I can't always be like, hey, dude, I need your help with this. Even though it's like I am who with myself. I am my biggest best friend. But I instead always want to see myself as my biggest enemy. I don't know why I do that. I feel like there is probably some undertone trauma and anger and things that just aren't fully resolved. But it is like, why do you always go that route? Why can't you just be enjoyful for what you have? And it's like, to me, I've had good things. I don't understand why I'm so down sometimes, why I feel somewhat depressed. I don't know if I am fully, but like I have those symptoms and feelings where I'm like, I'm not feeling happy, I'm feeling low. I'm like, why though? Why? I don't get why. You have good friends, you have a great family. It's like, why are you trying to? It's like I'm trying to stay down for no reason. I'm trying to go down to the lowest place for whatever reason, even though I have things I can do to help me out and do better in the future. It's like I still have to find a reason to be lower. I don't know. But like I stated, yeah, I don't know. Uh, I'm kind of thinking I want to do more unique things with video recording. I'm not exactly sure what. I think just I need to keep it simple and consistent, but not make it a chore. Because again, I'm like, oh, you're not consistent, so I have to find an excuse to, like, if it's you're not consistent. And it's like I said, if I don't want to record, then don't record. That's fine. But like, I need to do it. I need to find it. If I don't record, then that means it's not good or not. I don't like it. And it's like, that's not the truth. It's just I don't feel like doing it today. What's wrong with that? But then again, I do see sometimes where the issue is because then I'm not recording at all, and then 3 days pass. Even though I've been busy, I am maybe I could have figured out something throughout. Maybe I could have done something, in between to record, but I didn't. Which, do I need to beat myself up for that? No, but like I am, for whatever reason, and it's ridiculous. I always see negative in things. I always see, even though most of it could be a positive thing, I always see the negative in something. I never see the positive. The positive is like the 2% that I'll look at. 98% of it though is negative. And maybe I see that because I don't know. I just, like I stated, I don't understand why I need to be so negative. And sometimes I think I am negative because I am worried to being positive or overly positive to things and to then get disappointed and hurt because I looked at something in the better light or had hope for something that didn't, come to fruition. But it's better to probably do that than to be extremely negative and have a bad outlook on mostly everything, even if it's extremely positive and it's like not an issue, but I have to make it an issue and see it as only an issue, even though there was no signs of it being an issue. Um, but yeah, I feel like I want to talk about more stuff. Um, It's funny because it is kind of weird off topic a little bit, but like there's a Spider-Man story that I heard on YouTube, and it's called Spider-Man No One Dies, and there was a quote that Peter Parker had that made me really respect the character even more. I already love Spider-Man as is, but like what truly makes him a hero for me was in this story that I saw on YouTube, and like the big pickup line and quote of the story was how basically it delved into Spider-Man's no-kill rule and like why he doesn't kill anyone or has that strong of a kill rule. No kill rule. I said strong of a kill rule, like he is gonna kill someone. But like why he doesn't kill anyone, and he has that the main reason, because like you understand there's Batman's reason on why he doesn't kill anyone. He has the no kill rule, even though it goes to the extreme where I'm like, why is Joker still alive? But then there was Spider-Man where I'm like, what's his specific reason? You kind of think what it is with like the responsibility and everything. It fully goes into like what is his no kill rule and why does he have one. And it was basically like what he stated is like he set a very high goal for himself, and I think I'll lead more into why I feel like I relate to the goal and like why I relate to even more to Peter Parker and Spider-Man. But it's like Spider-Man set a high goal for himself after the big events. I think of like losing Gwen Stacy or something. He stated again, when I'm around people, whoever is in my presence, no one will die. As long as I'm in this costume, as long as I'm under the mask, no one will die in my presence. And it was such an interesting quote because it's such a very selfless and very hard task to probably do. Like just to set your goal that high as to be like, no matter what I do, no matter how I do it or anything, no one will die in my presence. Even though there's so many things that can go wrong, so many accidents, Spider-Man's like, nope. As long as I'm in these people's presence, as long as whoever is around me, they're not going to die. And I was like, him setting that high of a goal that, in this sense, is very probably unrealistic and not possible even for someone of his power and length and, his mental state and how strong he is as a character. Is like, even for him, that could break him, and that couldn't be as realistic to do. It's like setting that high of a goal. It's like he would do something so selfless to the point that it probably would break him, and it would be a goal that he could not fully achieve. But I've noticed that's something I do a lot with myself, is I set goals that are way too high and have way too high expectations that 9 times out of 10 I'm not going to be able to succeed and follow through, and then beat myself up for it. Be like, oh, you didn't do this right. When I'm like, dude, you never had the chance to really even do it. How were you supposed to do it correct the first time? You didn't learn how to do it in the first place, and that wasn't your fault. It wasn't in your control. But I would set these very, very high rules, very high beliefs and tasks that 9 times in 10 is I'm not ready for or can't do at the moment. And it's like, why do I do that? And somewhat is to be like, it's very selfless. I deserve to overwork myself. I deserve the stress. I deserve the anxiety. I deserve the burnout. And it's like, I feel like it's something, I don't know why I feel like I deserve that, but I feel like I do. I do deserve those negative reactions and negative things, and I think that's why I somewhat relate to Peter, because he kind of like, he put a very high task for himself to do and very high responsibility to follow. Even though I think he would. I mean, I know he would try his damnedest to do so, but it's like, what if something did go wrong and you couldn't save that person? Then it's like, what, you're gonna put the costume away? And I have that same thing where it's like, you're going to try your best to do every single thing at the job, at work. You're going to try to do every task and make sure every single thing is up to date. Even though it's super busy, even though you're one person and can't do everything, you're going to try to do everything you can. It doesn't matter if you get burnt out. It doesn't matter if your flipping legs are swollen. You got to do everything in the book, no matter what. Because it will benefit the other people in the next shift, or it will benefit people down the line in some sort of way, and it's going to have some benefit, even though you are now burnt out and basically dead at this point, because you're tired, you don't want to move, you don't want to do anything, you don't even want to look at pizza or dishes to clean. I'll still go through and try to do the hardest work I can known as possible, and I'm like, I don't know why I do that to myself. I set very high goals and expectations of myself, which is good because I do want to achieve. I'm a overachiever for sure sometimes, but it gets to the point where it's like, you've set such a high goal that you're not going to be able to achieve it. Even the people who's probably the best of the best couldn't achieve that goal, because it's very unrealistic and not plausible at all. I was just like, no, I'll do it no matter what. There's a lot of times where I think I can fix a lot of things that I might do that's not even in your control. How could you fix that? You can't fix a person's reaction to something. Sure, you can maybe prevent it, you can prevent something from having, like, say you do a lot of things to make sure a customer doesn't get angry and doesn't leave a complaint. Sure, you could do that, but you could have a customer who is a complete jerk and completely disregards anything and everything and just wants to make everyone upset because they feel upset. You can't change their reaction. You can't stop them from being that type of person. Sure, you can lead up to things, make sure things are clean, make sure they get what they want properly, give good customer service. You could do all those things, but if they're a bad person that's just a jerk person to be around and tries to afflict negative emotions onto others, you can't really change that. But I would be like, it's your fault. They're angry because it's your fault. You didn't do enough. It's your issue. Because you didn't do this, because you didn't fix that. It's your fault. And I'm like, but they're a Karen. They're the jerk. They decided to be rude, even though I was very nice, very respectful, and the other co-worker I was working with, is very nice and respectful. They're still trying to be a jerk and make it a bad reaction. I'm just using this as an example. It has actually happened to me before, so never mind. It is an example that have happened, so it's not like I'm making this up. This is something that has happened to me at the job, where I did make sure everything was set up well. I gave great customer service, and they still found a way to be rude, disrespectful, and try to make everyone's day bad and ruin everyone's day. But instead of accepting that, being like, that person was just rude, they maybe had a bad day themselves and wanted to afflict down to others, I had to see it as, it's your fault. You didn't set up this thing well. Your customer service wasn't good enough. You're very bad. Even though I was like, no, you're good. The next customers are like, sorry you had to go through that. Sorry you had to go through a jerk customer. I'm like, yes, it's okay. Other people be like, that guy didn't deserve that. That person was rude. I would still be, nope, it's my fault. It was still my fault. I didn't do the right thing. I'm like, it's that mindset where it's like, why do you do that? Why do you go into the mindset where it's like unfair that people do, like you can't control people? And I basically go set up goals and restrictions for myself to be like, no, you need this is how you're supposed to do it. You can't control people. That's how you're supposed to work. You're supposed to work to the bone and make sure people, you know, like I pretend that I'm the puppet master to everything when I have no strings. It's like, why do you do that? I'm the puppet master. I'm the person controlling the puppet, but there's no strings, no motion, no mechanism in the puppet to me even be able to speak or make it move. It's like I'm trying to be a puppeteer when there's literally no yarn on the puppet to even hold. It's like, I don't know why I set up rules like that, because at the end of the day, they are going to burn me out. I'm setting myself up to fail, and I do that a lot. Don't know why, but I set myself up to fail a lot, and when I do fail, when it's a very inedible, when I set myself to inevitably, I don't even know how to say that word. There's a lot of lisping and stuttering. I hate these braces so much. These rubber bands are terrible. I swear they've grown a lisp even more for me. I just make it inedible for me to fail. And then, of course, when I fell, because it was clearly obvious I was going to, I still beat myself up for it. Even though most of the time it's not my fault, or it wasn't it was something out of my control, I still blame myself for it. Why? I don't know, and I hope I figure that I stop doing that and give myself more credit. But then I feel like if I do give myself more credit, then I'm selfish. I'm being selfless. All these negative things. I'm like, why do you? I just don't get that. So I think it's the right thing for me to basically burn myself out and have all these negative thoughts on myself, and to basically disrespect myself as a person, my characteristics as a human being, and put myself down every time, because that means I'm being humble. I'm humbling myself, and it's like, it's very not correct. That's very negative, unrealistic mindset. And yeah, I need to stop doing that. And I've noticed that a lot recently, that I do that to myself a lot. And I think that Spider-Man story and that Spider-Man quote kind of resonate me a little bit more, because it's like, yeah, that's what I do to myself a lot. I set up these very high expectations and goals that 9 times out of 10 I'm not going to be able to achieve. But I do everything to make sure I do. And when one thing goes wrong that is completely out of my control and something I can't fix, you're a failure. You're a failure. You suck. You're not good at this. You should probably give up. And I'm like, that I gotta stop that. But yeah, I feel like there's more I could talk about, but this is already like a long video. So I'm gonna call it a night. Peace.